Welcome to Bandit's Keep Actual Play. I'm Daniel. Today we are continuing my solo original Dungeons & Dragons campaign. We are using Outdoor Survival and Chainmail, basically my own system put together called Unchained. You can find a link to that in the description below. It's free, it's a playtest basically. Anyways, we're looking at the Foxes, which is my kind of mid-level group. We've got 4th level, maybe 3rd or 4th level characters, maybe 5th in this group, and they are finding some treasure maps, and not finding, they're going to buy some treasure maps and seek gold and glory. Okay, so it is October the 4th. It's funny how time jumps around here, and I am about to send out another group. So the Ravens, the last adventure that you probably have seen before this, the Ravens came back after completing their map. So there is an option for the Ravens to go back out. There's also an option for the Foxes or the Rangers. I'm leaning towards those two since I like to rotate around the groups, but I want to do a couple things. So I've got these maps here. There's several of them. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 maps. Okay, these 5 came in August. These 2 came in July. So what we do is any non-active month, we roll a d6, and if I get a 1, then the map has been bought by somebody that's not one of the player character groups or one of the patrons, right? So basically what we're going to do here is we're going to roll for each of these maps to see which ones might be available. So again, these are July, so we're going to roll for, they came in at the end of July, but I'm still going to roll for July. So July, August, September, and we'll roll for October because we're in October now and I might not do another one. That gives us 4 dice. So I'm going to roll 4 dice for this one. If I get any 1s, it's been sold. Doesn't count unless it's in the box. No, that one's still available. Next one. Okay, this one has been sold. Now these ones are 1 month less because they came in. Okay, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3, just like that. Okay, that one's still available. Second one. This one's sold. This one. Sold. Ooh, that one's a very popular one. Okay, and then finally, I didn't see it. It's up here. Not sold. Okay, so that leaves us with 3 maps. And what I'm going to do is look at these 3 maps and see which group is most likely to be successful with them. This first one is a map towards a dwarven kingdom. Now, the thing with the dwarves and stuff like that is that generally speaking, dwarves are considered on the side of the player characters, if you will. So attacking a dwarven encampment is probably not something we necessarily want to do. So I'm just going to say we can avoid that, although there's quite a bit of treasure there. So it could be if the Rangers of Arkfall wanted to be raiders, right? They could raid the dwarves and try to get a bunch of treasure, because this is probably worth a lot since the map is 3,295 gold, which means that the actual value of this is quite high. I think 5 times that or something like that. I don't remember the math. So quite a bit of gold there. No, even more than that. So this, just looking at this, we've got 2 times 4,000 jewelry, a 6,000, a 9,000. We've got 5 times 2,000. So 3 times 3,000. There's a whole lot of treasure there. But this is going to require us to come in with an army, and maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll think about that if it still is in existence the next time I play. It's also 8 up, 3 over, so it's over here somewhere, and the Rangers are here, which is kind of interesting because I would have to march an army across. So possible. This one is Gnolls, and I already rolled to see how many, 60. So this is a pretty small encampment of Gnolls. That could be taken out by the Foxes, who are 4th level-ish apiece, even without any kind of troops. 60 Gnolls is a lot of Gnolls, but that's not so many that a 4th and 5th level party can't take out as long as we get lucky with them and don't fight them all at once. There's not a lot of treasure there, some silver pieces, but also some magic items, which could be useful. Unfortunately, none of them are like, well, there's 10 magic arrows. That could be very useful. And finally, oh, this is an interesting one as well. I was actually looking at this one earlier. This is our Buccaneers. These guys are over here somewhere. I think if they're over on that river, if I'm not mistaken. And I thought that's kind of an interesting setup for one of the groups to bring, again, a troop of warriors into. There's a lot of treasure here. Again, this is 6,000. So, and this one, because they're buccaneers, which are basically treated, if I'm not mistaken, like bandits or the like. Let me just check this quickly. I think that what we get here is potential to have like superheroes and heroes as part of the group. So it's not going to be so easy for one of the smaller groups to take them out. Let's see. It's going to have to be high-level characters, basically. Let's see. Buccaneers. Where are we? Buccaneers are water-going bandits in all respects except composition of horses. So we've got mostly light foot. So basically they don't have any horses, which I guess makes sense. They are, but that means because they're like bandits and there's 180 of them, we're looking at, for every 30 bandits, there will be 1 4th level. So there's going to be 9 4th level characters there. For every 50, so 3, there'll be 1 5th or 6th level. And for every 100, there'll be 1 8th or 9th level. So we're looking at a pretty decent amount of high-level characters here with this group. This is not going to be an easy task to take them out. We're going to have to bring soldiers in, and we're going to have to also get lucky that their high-level fighters don't take us out. Now, the group that would actually face them are magic users, which wouldn't do very well standing toe-to-toe with these characters, but, you know, they have these things called, like, fireballs and such, so that could be kind of interesting, right? So, on that note, I think there's what I want to do to kind of get myself rolling and maybe try to get one complete and then be able to jump to the next one right away is I think I'm going to, because it's still early in the month, we might do all these maps. Since all of these are combats, let me look at dwarves for a second. Normally I would say dwarves are not exactly who we want to battle, but that could be kind of fun. You know, for whatever reason, you know, maybe these dwarves have gone on our bad side, I guess. Dwarves. Okay, any body of dwarves will have 1 above average fighter for every 40 in the group. To determine the level, simply roll a 6-sided die. Number of equal the, okay, so, all right. Their lair, okay. In the lair, the score will be adjusted so that 1 or 2 equals 3rd, 3 or 4, 4th, 5 or 6, 5th, and 6 is, okay, 5 or 6 is 5th and 6th. So for every level of fighting ability, there's a chance that they'll have magic shield, magic armor. Okay, so basically, if we attack the dwarves, I think we actually have a better chance, even though there's more of them, because obviously we can bring more foot troops in, because the dwarves are not going to have 9th level fighters. The best they're going to have is 6th level fighters, so no superheroes with them. So, you know, honestly, it's probably an easier combat. There is less treasure, but here it is here, but it's still a lot of treasure. So, you know, I'm not going to worry about that right this second. Oh, the other option too, by the way. So just so you understand my kind of thinking on all these are layers that we've discovered. I generally don't go back to just the layers, but we certainly can. So we've got berserkers. We've got, well, you know what's funny about this is oh no, it would both be the ravens. The rangers are here, and the buccaneers are over there, which is one reason why it might not be a bad idea to go after them, because I just feel like, you know, there might be some kind of situation where we want to, where we don't want the evil group so close to us, although they're not necessarily evil. Buccaneers are like bandits, which are neutral, so they're not pirates or chaotic. But we have like hobgoblins, so there are things that we could face if we wanted to. Like, for instance, there's a group of hobgoblins here, so that'd be up here somewhere in the map. And remember, our foxes, I believe, are leaving from here. I'll have to check that. I'm pretty sure our foxes leave from here. Maybe they leave from the top. Okay, so you know what I'm going to do? Let's just keep this simple. I think we're going to go with this map. The foxes are going to buy it. It's got a bunch of magic items, which could be very useful to us. We've got, you probably can't read it, a potion of longevity, which is not that useful, but maybe we can sell it. Potion of undead control could be useful. Wand of illusion could be very useful. A potion of treasure finding, also kind of useful. And the arrows I mentioned, if I didn't say that. They've only got silver, which is kind of junky for cash and for experience points. But I think this could just be a run to get us some magic items. So let's do that. Okay, I also want to quickly mention that these maps that were sold, this one's Vani. So Vani will get the experience and treasure for these, and I'll factor all that in. Basically, what ends up happening is what it was sold for. So this one's 4,611. Vani will get that treasure, you know, and experience points to go with it. That's how I treat my mappers. Maybe I'll jump in and do a little mapper interlude here as soon as I get this all figured out, or I'll do it at the end or next time. You know what? As I was starting to do this, I decided that I was going to take a pause for a second because I don't think it was fair to the groups that I rolled all of October before they had a chance to buy it, because it's only the 4th of the month. So I went back and looked at the October ones, and they will be sold still if the party doesn't take them, but I want to give them first choice. And I noticed this one here is Evil Priest plus Undead with 15,000 gold. And when I look at the location, it's 5.5 across, 2 up. And when I look at this one that I was thinking about buying with the Gnolls, where is it? 5.75 over, 3.75 down. So they're both kind of on this side of the map. So I'm wondering if what I should do is have this group buy both of these and try to set out like we did once before and do like a double hit. I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to buy this one and this one for the group, the foxes as it would be. We're going to hold out on the idea of the dwarves and buccaneers being attacked by the rangers. We'll think about that next time. We're not going to worry about the lairs right now. And then these additional ones are just going to be off the board. So I'm going to do that math now and give Vonnie all of their experience points and stuff for all this, and then I'll come back. Okay, one more time sorting out the mappers. This is Vonnie's card. There's her picture. She was 5th level. She's leveled up to 6 now with 44,053 experience points. She needs 64,000 to the next level. She gained 15,012 gold from that. So when we look at her, I know it's hard to see, but when we look at her accounting, she gained 15,012. She had only 6,351 gold pieces left in her coffers. So now she's got 21,363. So the reason why this is important for the mapper, if you're going to do this in your game, or the reason why I do it, is because remember that she can send out as many mappers as she has levels. She can send out about 6 mappers, but she has to, whenever they come back with a map, she has to pay out to them immediately. So she has to have money to do that. If she does not have the money, then she can't do it, which means it stops her business. So her money, her levels matter insofar as how many mappers we can send out. Okay, let me get this cleaned up and then we'll be back. Okay, so October 4th. In usual fashion, I'm going to keep 3 weeks of rations with the party. This is the party, by the way. We've got 3 fighters, dwarf, halfling. We've got 3 magic users, no, 2 magic users who are both elves, and 1 magic user that is human. This, I think we're doing different than the Ravens, because I started them before. So these elves are restricted as magic users are restricted. I don't think I'm doing that with the Ravens. So, in other words, they're not wearing armor. There's their spells. And again, the way I do this is it's by adventure. So this is all they got to cast this whole time when they're out in the field. If they run out of spells, they don't get them back every morning, right? Because they have their spell books back at camp. Now, here's the thing. We're starting up here. We have 2 destinations. We have the Gnolls, and then we have the evil priests with the undead. That happens to be very close to where the Rangers are, where they've set up this new kind of safe haven. So I think my plan, since we were talking about earlier, is to get the group, clear this, ideally clear that too, end up going here as opposed to going back home. Okay, it might only be clear this, get to there, and we'll see. This will become their temporary new home, so they can get experience points and stuff, but more importantly, I think I'll have them join the group, and then they'll march on the dwarves together. I think that'd be really fun to have like all these player characters involved. So here we're keeping track of everything. I have 3 weeks rations. We are on light horses, which gives us 10 movement points. And again, in the clear, movement is 1 hex per point, if you will. Forests are 2, mountains and such are 3, etc., etc. We'll deal with that as we go. We're going to roll wandering monsters as well as we go. And let me see, should I do this left-handed? I think I'm going to go on the side again, which isn't always the easiest way for me to do it. But all right, so day 1. The first thing we have to do is roll to see if we're lost. We are in the clear. We're only lost if we roll a 1. Oop, it only counts if it's inside the box. I think it's this guy who's right there. Ha, we're lost. Okay. When you are lost, so think of it like this. When you're lost, it's not so much that, hey, we're lost. How could we be lost in our own home square, right? Could be something's in our way, something slowing us down. What it effectively means is we have to move 1 hex in a random direction, then we can continue as we please. So 2. So for whatever reason, we have to go this way to get out of town. Maybe there's something going on there, a battle, something dangerous, doesn't really matter. In OD&D, unlike Outdoor Survival, we can immediately turn around if we want, which is what I will do because that's the smartest thing. So we spent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and we'll stop there. Now we're going to roll to see if there's an encounter. We're in the clear. There's only an encounter on a 6. No encounter. That's day 1. Okay. Day 2. Are we lost? We are not. Again, 10 movement points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we get to the Gnolls lair in the middle of the second day. So for the Gnolls, I can do this any number of ways. There's 60 of them. I could do a field battle, but that wasn't my plan. I think we're just going to do a regular little dungeon, so let me get out the deck of many dungeons. Okay, if you've not seen me use the deck of many dungeons before, somehow I lost the box. Deck of many dungeons. Basically, these are cards that have dungeon markings on them. First thing we do is we shuffle up the aces. One of these is going to be our entrance. Let's say this one. Okay. That's pretty good. Yeah, you can see that right now. It's getting a little bit of glare on it, but we'll push it up here so you don't get the glare. Okay. That's our entrance into the dungeon. Put those to the side. Now, the way this generally works is if you reach a point where there's nowhere else to go, then you draw a king card, and then this could either be a final boss room or it could be like a way down to the next level. So we put the kings to the side. I've also shuffled the kings in sometimes. It just depends, but the right way to do it is what I just explained. Then we're going to, here's our deck. I'm going to shuffle it up, and we're just going to go for it. So the party's up top. That's their marching order. 2 fighters in the front. If we get into combat, so the plan will always be, if we can, is to use our archers as much as possible. The 2 elves and the halfling are our best archers. If we get into a conflict from the front and it's in a wider corridor, we'll reorganize ourselves. Generally speaking, the cleric's going to move to the front. This is our cleric here because they are in plate mail armor and they don't have a long weapon. The hobbit does in fact have a spear, I believe. Do they have a spear? No, they do not. Okay, so they might move to the front as well, depending on the situation. These 2 elves both have spears, and they can use them because elves can use any weapon, even if they can't wear armor. Okay, so next step here. Oh, random. Here's an additional map that somehow I didn't roll to see if it was available or not. It's an October one, so I'm just going to roll for it right now. If I get a 1, then this map is gone, and I'll figure that out after. We'll figure that out after. So this map is sold. Put it up here. All right, so that's sold, and I'll add that to Vonnie's loot later. So let's do this. I generally have a little tiny mini, this right here. Well, you can see that. And this is going to represent the party. These are 10-foot squares. In OD&D, full plate, like heavy armored people, can move 6 inches, so 6 squares per turn. Per move. They can move twice on a turn. So basically, you can move 12 squares if fully encumbered. The way I'm going to do this right now is, also we're going to need to use torches. What does he have in the front? He's got a shield. He's not going to use his shield. Okay. One of the dwarves up front is going to hold a torch. And the cleric in the back is going to use a lantern. Now, I think these cards, which I'll show you. I think I got these from Tim Shorts. I cannot remember. If I can find it, I'll put a link. But basically, these are, you're supposed to just you could either laminate them or whatever. But what I'm going to do is what I've done in the past. I'm going to put my little flame on it. I'll just move it down. Okay. All right, so that's our light, because again, we don't have any continual light spells at this point. I think actually the cleric does, but I did not cast it, so we're using torches. All right, let's do this. So because we're in the lair of Gnolls, whenever we encounter something, 1 through 4 on a d6 is going to be a Gnoll. Otherwise, we're going to roll on the appropriate level as far as the random monsters. We'll roll for every room, and we'll also roll every other turn, for random monsters. Gnolls are 2nd level monsters, so we'll roll the 2nd level of the thing. And I'll show you all that as it comes up. Got my spells. We're going to track our turns here. Okay. So turn 1. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we should be able to see in this direction. So I'm going to, look at that, a door. Because there's only like half a move left, I'm going to say we can get to the door and listen on this turn. So as turn 1 ends, we're going to listen at the door. We have almost the whole party is demi-humans. Only 3 people can listen at a time, though. So we're going to roll. On a 1 or a 2, they hear something, if there's something there. Nobody hears anything. Okay. And that's the end of turn 1. Now, wandering monsters are coming at the end of a turn, an even turn. So I'm going to roll that now. On a 1 or a 2, there is a wandering monster. Okay, we're going to get a wandering monster at the end of turn 2. In addition to that, let's roll to see if there's anything in this room. On a 1 or a 2, there's something in the room. There's not. All right, no monster anyways. Okay, so the beginning of turn 2, we listened. We didn't hear anything. We're going to open the door. Up to 3 people can open the door, which is what we'll do. 1 or a 2 to push the door open. Nope. You can do this a lot of different ways. Officially by the rules, there's nothing. You just try again. Some people roll a wandering monster check whenever that happens, but of course we already have a wandering monster coming, so I'm just going to say that wandering monster can't be surprised because we made a bunch of noise, right? That's going to be the ruling I'm going to make right now. We're going to try to push again, and we open it. So we push the door open. That's probably about half a turn. We come in here. There's no monster in here. However, even though it says it's monster, it does show treasure, and there is a chance that empty rooms have treasure. So on a 1 or a 2, there is treasure in here. There's not. All right, this room is empty. So we explore this room fully at the end of this turn. Move this over. Move this over. And I probably should have put it on there at the end of the... This is really turn 2, so I'll do it this way. At the end of this turn, a wandering monster comes in. They cannot be surprised, but we can. So let's roll. 1 or a 2, we're surprised. We are not. Let's see what it is. 1 through 4. I feel like I'm going fast. Let me slow down. 1 through 4, it's a Gnoll. Gnolls. Okay, so Gnolls are going to be in groups. They're 2nd level monsters. So we're going to say they're in groups of, let's say, I know this is going to sound weird, but 2 to 6. So I'm basically rolling 2 D3s right now. So this would be 1 and this would be 2. So 3 Gnolls. However, that's based on, and again, this is OD&D rules, that's based on a party size of 3. With a party size of 6, we double that. So there's 6 Gnolls here. Okay, 6 Gnolls. 6 Gnolls. Nobody is surprised. Let's roll distance. 6. Okay, so we're inside the room. So they're just entering. Okay, so we'll say basically at the end of turn 2, we're turning around to leave, and we see them kind of approaching the doorway. The door is, we'll say it's open. Actually, is the door open? Let's do a random thing. Doors automatically closed in OD&D, so it's probably closed. Because I didn't say I spiked it. So the door is closed. So at the end of this turn, we move up to the door. And of course, we never have done in the past, so I'm not going to do now. we don't, we must hear them, right? Because I said that nobody is surprised, and they hear us. So we know the people are there. So here's the question. Do we want to, I'm going to roll this here. We're going to move up to the door, because the door is a much more defensible position, and we're going to wait for them to open the door. So, do they open the door? If you've been enjoying these actual plays, please do take a second to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're interested in that. Check the description below. You'll find links to most of, if not all, the things I use for this game. If you see something that's not in the description, go ahead and make a comment. I will try to find you a link. And yeah, my Discord server is also listed there. Join up, join the conversation. I'll talk to you soon.